What do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Crypto Channel 329. Today's video is going to be the Fortune Hunters AMA. They are going to talk about the MOF, TFM, and I believe they will talk about the FOF refunds. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the FOF refunds, they will assess all the wallets. They will check who ROI, who has an ROI, and then from there, each investor will receive the airdrop. So the AMA is about to start. So I'm gonna shut up right now. I'm gonna listen to what they gotta say, and yeah, let's see what they will bring to the table.
Tom was I'd be able to rattle off all these names, but there's 82 people in here already. My goodness. I can see the usual suspects here.
Hey everyone, yeah, a few more minutes. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling loads better now. Right. Copy is on and ready to go. Right. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. I know you're only a couple of days after the last one, but what we want to do is basically keep everyone informed on a probably 3 or 4 days every now and again, just to keep everyone so on the loop where we're actually at, what we're actually doing in the background, because it's not as easy as we thought it might have been to start off with. 38,500 different transactions we've got to go through, every one of them manually. It's absolutely horrendous. So I'm a bit relieved because not relieved, but it's not as pressure for me but for the team that is actually doing it, it is a lot of pressure. So I'm trying to stay away from them and not bug them a little bit. But we are getting there. It will take a little bit more time. In the meantime, it is being recorded. Someone has pressed record, so that's fine. In the meantime, we just keep everyone updated. The pools are growing. We are 3 different pools. So as there has been, everyone is aware there's FUD going around that there's only so much in one pool. And yes, there's 3 different pools. We don't keep out all the eggs in one basket, remember. We teach you that, so why would we practice what we're preaching? So, yeah. But we are getting there. What else was there to say? Oh, Cake of Fortune. 20,000 cake was reached today. Bullish about that. We're getting, just ignore outside noise. I keep getting told that from Lucio, just ignore outside noise. I was really extremely upset the first day seeing what were in our chats. Basically kicked myself out of the chats that there was too much of it, just so I can keep clear, level-headed for you lot. I will keep clear, level-headed. We're basically a team, we're a community, we're a company, we're an ecosystem. And there's more than Farmer Fortune. There's the rest of it. We can't make ourselves go on a downer to the point of forgetting the rest of the platforms when that was one thing we said. If one went down, we wouldn't let the rest ride with it. And we haven't. We're pushing it. We're doing everything we can. The next part of the news is the Fortune miner. The injections start on Monday. This is the 4th week. So that's what we said. 4 weeks of the compounding. And the 4th week, we would start the injections, which is what you've all been waiting for. The balance is balancing out for the percentages for each and every single person, which is the exact same way we started with the Cake Fortune and the Elka Fortune. And look at them run the way they're running now. They're running like a dream. Let me just... Yeah, so there we are, still over a 20K. Just give us 2 minutes for questions. We are going to open up for questions for everybody. 1 second. Yes, Mischief of Fortune is doing really well as well. No need for any injections into that. That's pumping quite well. So the whole ecosystem is going absolutely tremendous. What we're going to do is I'm going to say what I've got to say, and then I'm going to see if Nelson's got anything to say or any other team member that's got to say. And then we'll open up for questions for people that weren't able to ask the questions on the last AMA. We're going to try and keep it roughly about an hour because we want to carry on doing what we're doing in the background so that we can get everything sorted. The quicker we get it sorted, the quicker you start getting your refunds. And that's the way we've got to do it. We've got to do it one by one. We can't just rush it. If we rush it, someone might not get enough or someone might get too much. And we want to make sure everything's fair for everybody. So rushing it is just going to be a ball ache. And then we're going to have that many queries. We will do a sheet once we've done it, and there will be a query form as long as with it, so that everyone can, if there's an objection against anything, then they'll be able to query it, and then we can personally go through it with every single person at that point. What's that?
Meanwhile, if someone wants to make their question.
Yeah, we're not going to go like stable up on chat. What we're doing is we've kept the chat open. It's always been open. We didn't realize we were still on slow-mo mode before, so thanks for everyone pointing that out. We quickly turned it off. The reason we had slow-mo is so that we could have actually answered everyone's questions during the last AMA. Sorry, Nelson, I'll let you continue.
I was just saying, if someone wants to ask a question in the voice chat, to raise their hand also. Doesn't need to write. If someone wants to talk, say anything, they can.
Right. Okay, well, open to questions. Jo, I'll just allow you to speak. Go ahead, mate. Jo Sousa, if you just press your mute button, you'll be able to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly, mate.
So, I don't know if I saw somewhere in the chat yesterday or today, I don't remember for sure, if it is a possibility to do with Farm of Fortunes something like you are doing with the NFTs. Don't know if you think about it.
You mean with the
airdropping weekly or monthly, like in the NFTs?
Once we get the refunds done, then we can look at that further down the line. But at this present time, our priority is the ones that haven't ROI'd. Right. So that's our main priority right now. I know it might be something that some people aren't liking to hear, but we've got to prioritize the ones that aren't ROI'd. And the refunds. So that's where we're going. And then once we get just halfway down the refunds, then we can consider stuff and we can open up to everyone and let everyone know what the plans are future down the line. But we have to do one step at a time. If we put out too much at once, we're going to get backlogged, and delays we don't like doing. We've got the first delay ever, which is the BOF. We're delaying that until we've got everything sorted. So we will consider, but it will be a bit later date.
Right. Just another topic. You talked about if we don't go for that road, let's say like this, that you will ROI everyone and then compensate everyone with what is left, right?
Yeah, whatever's left in the pools, though, it'll be distributed to everyone. We're not sure how much left in the pools, but it's whatever's left.
But what I want to know is, for example, you have two people that get in the first day, and one compounded 50 and took the other 50. And someone that only withdraw, they end both 3 days ago with 10 BNB deposit. But one did what you asked for, so they tried to grow up with all the community, and one only take every time, everything. The compensation will be the same for both?
Fortunately, yeah. We can't help choices, and that's what we're trying to do in DeFi. Is it's a choice that each and every community member should make. If they choose to take and just continuous take, then we can't really say Final Fortune right now. But if you look at Mischief of Fortune and you see your ROI, in fact, let me just screenshot mine and I'll show you my table where I've just been, I've done a couple of 100%. Please don't follow my strategy. I'm only doing 100% reinvestments because I'm going to build mine up a little bit more. I was building it up until 1,000 deposited. But now that I'm over 1,000 deposited, it is the 50-50 rule that I'll be keeping doing, as well as the bear strategy going into TFM. Let me just screenshot mine, and I'll show you what I mean. Right now, I need to share my screen now. Yeah, so as you can see with the table, it's basically been, when there's a withdrawal, been putting 50% back in. So I've got another withdrawal available in 1 day, 12 hours, and 50% of that will be going back in. 25% will go into TFM, and I'll be keeping 25% for myself. And that's the way I grow my bag. And like I say, Mischief Fortune was the first one I joined, and then I joined Farmer Fortune, but didn't expect the attack what we had. But we're going to push forward and look to what we've got at this present time. But yeah, unfortunately, it is going to be the same for everyone. We have to treat equally, even though everyone has a difference of opinions. Syrup, we don't know. We don't know until we know the exact figures of what we've got to pay out. We don't know anything beyond that point. I'll open up to Nick. Allowed to speak, mate?
Hey, Craig, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Not bad, man. I'm like half exhausted. Got a massage and hit my chiropractor. I'm like half asleep now, like a walking zombie. But I had to hop on here and talk to you. I just wanted to I want to ask two questions. The first one, out of all the crazy stuff I've seen in DeFi, I've never seen, obviously I've seen panic sites go down, I've seen attacks, but I've never seen a project creator and team still inject funds into the contract to give people a choice if they want to take or, you know, put back in. I just wanted to get your opinion and your thought process on, and I'm not saying you did anything wrong or right, but I've never seen it done this way. Usually it gets shut down, nobody puts any money in, sites down, they say, you know, forget it. You decided to do the opposite. What was going through your head when all this mayhem was ensuing for you to continue to inject?
Yeah, so in my head and the team's head, we was going to hold off. And then we saw in the chat saying that everyone were going to reinvest. And once the sites were back up, and we thought, well, wait a minute, we'll hold off, we'll not inject. When the sites are back up, we'll inject. We'll do the 100 BNB and see where it is the next morning when I woke up. Because it was exhausting, I went to bed, woke up next morning, saw that it was empty, and I had to make the decision of stopping the contract. Otherwise, it would have been virtually impossible for us to even get anywhere close to making sure anyone's happy with the projects. And we're a full ecosystem, and the last thing we wanted was to have a snowball effect on every other project going. And that's why we had to make this decision of stopping it at that time. Was I wrong in doing the injection after we first got the sites back up? Maybe somebody might say I'm wrong in what I did, but I thought I'd give people, well, not people, I thought I'd give the project a chance. And so it wasn't anybody's fault. We can't even say it was the DDoS attack's fault. It was just something that happened. Some people may say it's my fault. We don't know. What we've got to do is work now for the future and learn from some of the stuff that we did and know that is not feasible, like the 2% BNB. Now, the 1% MOF, we know even after an attack and the amount that was withdrawn is still sustainable. Whereas BNB, it's a lot to get that 2% daily back. Like I said, we can compound, but when does the amount that was getting withdrawn to compound back to 2% a day when there's withdrawals of 700 BNB? What would have been virtually impossible. Sorry, Nelson.
I can explain a little bit better that question for Nick. Well, to start off, there was no right or wrong decision. The decisions are only right or wrong after they are proven right or wrong. The moment you need to take a decision, there is no wrong or right decision. It's a decision that you need to take with the information that you have available at that moment. And if we would go down, we can think about well, when the attack started, the sites were down. If they had simply stopped injections, now it would be easier for everyone to get their ROI back. Yes, but if we didn't put funds in while the sites were down, people could also looking at the same way, saying that we were actually rugging because we weren't withholding the funds while the contracts were in the blockchain and had nothing to do with the sites per se, you know. So there is no really a right or wrong answer until things completely unfold and you are proven right or wrong. Everyone is right and everyone is wrong the moment they are taking a decision. Only after and you see what that decision leads to, you can say maybe this was not so right or maybe this was not so wrong. But it's a decision nevertheless, and we took decisions and we have our conscience as peace because we made the decisions that we thought were correct at that moment to keep people using the contract and being able to claim, because we believed that Farm of Fortune could continue. We, in our minds, never had any doubts Farm of Fortune would not go down until we reached a point where there is no return and we need to stop it. And that's what happened. Farm of Fortune closed a circle and reached an end of its lifespan. And now we carry on because, like I always say, Fortune Hunters is not just Farm of Fortune. And the proof is that yesterday we got over 50K invested in MOF. We have cake at absolute all-time high. And Fortune Hunters is here still, despite of the crown jewel that was Farm of Fortune having fallen. And it was something that was hard for everyone. No one, team or community, wanted to see Farm of Fortune fail. We all wanted to see Farm of Fortune continue. But we need to look back and see Farm of Fortune was 4 months old, over 4 months old actually, was nearing 5 months old when this attack happened. And we can look back and we can also see that when the MetaMask incident happened, it was not so serious, but it was for more days. But at that point in time, the pressure, the claims daily, the daily claims in Farm of Fortune were not as high, and we had more reserves because we had been always on a rising street. And when you burn the reserves during the MetaMask incident, and then you try to build them back up, and now you get hit by something like this. The rest of the reserves that you managed to build up again between the MetaMask incident and the DDoS attack incident is just not enough to be able to sustain it, because we don't know how long this attack will last. We can only go by the information that we have, that we are under attack and the community is also not doing their part. It's like I say, it's not about pointing fingers, it's just about looking at things the way they happen and the information that we had available, and that's the reason why we took the decisions we took. I hope that clears it a bit more.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it was commendable how I don't think anybody should ever point fingers or blame or anything. It's just happening in real time. No one expected for all this stuff to go down the way that it did. But I think it's real commendable for, when everything's going right, nobody has questions. It's when shit hits the fan when you really find out like who you're working with, who your team is, and where we're going to stand. So I believe everything happens for a reason. It's unfortunate that the reason had to be FOF to go down, but that's probably going to bring us all closer together as a community and skyrocket the rest of this ecosystem for a long time to come. So my last two questions, I'll make it quick because I know other people want to ask too. Number one, in a situation like this, I've seen in other projects, they develop a script where they can tell you who compounded, who didn't, who's ROI'd, who hasn't. Has that ever come across your guys' heads as far as looking into doing something like that to save you time than to manually go through 38,000 different transactions? And the other question I just wanted to throw out there after you get to that, and I'll be done. When it comes to Mischief of Fortune and the sustainability of 1% a day, I don't know how much yield you're making or how many times you're compounding, because I know Craig has said like he was, compounding like 30 or 28 times a day. And forgive me if I'm wrong for the 2% daily with FOF, but no matter what happens in the near future, like even if there was another DDoS attack and you've upped the security or whatever, do you think it's a lot easier to sustain this 1% for quite some time, even if there is somewhat of a bank run again or anything like that with the reserves being built? So those are my last two. And hey, thank you all for everything. Love this community. Love you guys like a family. Love you for helping me build passive income to help my own situation. And I'm here with you to the end.
I'm gonna take.
I'll let you answer the MOF, Nelson.
Yeah, the MOF question, the MOF part. I'm going to explain this. Imagine you have a scale, and in one side of the scale you have claims, and the other side of the scale you have reinvestments and fresh deposits. And in the middle of the scale you have the pools that can go either way to balance it. So imagine you have $10,000 USDC claimed today in Farm of Fortune. If the community does the requested and reinvests 50%, that means that only 5K actually leave the Farm of Fortune. If we have, let's say, 3K fresh deposits, that means that only 2K left Farm of Fortune. That means that the pools only need to add 2K to cover the full 10K that was claimed from Farm of Fortune. In case the TVL goes down under 100K, but just to get you the idea. If you have one day where, for example, you don't have 50%, you have 40% of reinvestments, and 40% fresh deposits, the pools still only need to pitch in 20% of what was claimed on that day. If you have a day where there's 10% reinvestments and zero fresh deposits, the pools need to pitch in 90% of the funds that were claimed. So that puts more stress in the project. That's why we keep saying this projects Fortune Hunters is about the community and about the choices the community makes. How long will the projects last? How sustainable they will be? It's not entirely up to us. A portion is up to us. A portion is up to the community choosing to maintain a project. It's easier, the pressure at 1%, like I explained with the scale example, the pressure is easier on the pools if people follow what is suggested, as obviously, because if there is a day where we have less reinvestments or a day where we have less fresh deposits coming in, the pools will fill in that day. You know, if we have a day where we have 50% reinvestments and then you have 7k fresh deposits, the pools don't need to pitch in anything because we have 2k over what was claimed. Make sense?
Yep.
So answering your question, how sustainable? It's up to the community as much as it is up to us.
Thanks, Nels.
Yeah. As for the script side, we are running a couple of scripts because it is a bit differently the way the scripts are run. And then we have to go through them scripts manually to make sure they are correct. Because out of the 18,000 BNB, we have had 6 different results of what is real deposits compared to recycled BNB, which is the compound, the manual compound. So that's why we got to go through them manually as well, because we have to have everything tallying up together, and that's what's taking the most time. So that's why we have to go through things manually after we run a script, and then go through them manually, check wallet by wallet to make sure them actually happened, they actually withdrew, they actually redeposited, etc. So that's the thing that's taking the most time.
Thanks, Craig. Keep it up, man. Wish you guys a great rest of your day and week.
Thank you. I'm going to open up to Nikita Gobrachev. I hope I said it right. I do apologize if not. You're able to speak. All right, Justin, did you want to say something?
I think I found it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey,
Nikita, there's something wrong with your mic. Please, can you verify what's going on?
Do you want to type your question out? Because your mic's not working, and we'll read it out and then answer for you. We'll open up to Justin in the meantime while we're just waiting for Nikita, if that's all right. Where are you, Justin? You did have your hand up. There we go. There you go, you're able to speak. You're able to unmute yourself, Justin.
oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay. So I know the question's kind of been asked and answered already, but for the 2% deal and it not being unsustainable, and from my understanding, the only reason it kind of collapsed is because everyone kept withdrawing without reinvesting. And it seems to be a group consensus to where we're all down for a forced half reinvestment. So like we could still grow at a 2%, our portfolio at a 2%, but only withdraw the 1%. I mean, I get what you're saying. You know, it's a free will type of situation where we should be able to choose. But I mean, if we're all choosing to have this go down, you know, why are we against this idea? That's it. That's all. Just something stupid. So.
No question's a stupid question. We'll put all these towards, because we have a community board now that we put towards the team, and we go through them on a weekly basis and see where we can bring anything in that we can bring in. But I don't personally like forced stuff, and I know there is a few people in the chat that don't like forced stuff. If we force the reinvest half, they've said many a times they wouldn't join. The other part is we'd have to have a proxy contract, because it'd have to force you to withdraw and then force you to reinvest half of your money. So it'd be using a contract within a contract to put half of the funds back in. And I'm not a big keen person on proxy contracts. I'm not sure what the community is like with proxy contracts. I find a lot of proxy contracts red flags. But we will put it towards the team and see what we think. But just so everyone is aware, we will not be doing a version 2 of Farmer Fortune.
All right, that's cool. Well, I just want to say appreciate you guys sticking around and, you know, dealing with all this headache. I can only imagine what y'all are going through. So, thanks.
I think I figured this out if I can still go. This Nikita.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so just a thought I was having. So after everybody ROI'd, maybe keep the pool going, and then maybe pivot it to a new project, or however you want to do it, where you sell a token that earns a share of the pool instead of buying into like a miner kind of thing. And that way you can trade the tokens, and the payout is based on the percentage of tokens you have. And then we can just keep the pool going without having to just cancel whatever income we have going with it.
Yeah, like we said, it has been brought up, but we are going to put it towards the team. But we've got to concentrate on what's more important at the moment, and that's to getting the refunds out.
Yeah, I mean for after that's all done.
Yeah, no worries. We can open up the chat again once we get like halfway through the refunds done, and then see what everyone thinks at that point.
All right, thank you.
No worries at all. No, sorry, I don't like version 2s. Version 2s are bad luck. You go for most projects that do a version 2, and they don't do too well. So we look at what we can do next. But at this present time, what we're doing next is the refunds, and then we'll look at what's coming next. Because right now we just really need to work on these refunds. And I'm sure many of you won't want to see a new project coming out while you're still waiting for a refund. It would be quite unfair, really.
Man, can I just say, A lot of people are asking for a version 2 of Form of Fortune and even suggesting us to make it 1%. We said a couple weeks ago, we announced that we were going to do an LP, which is basically BNB and cake farm, and that is not something that we have given up. It's still on the works. Just we needed to pause the works due to everything that happened, but that's still in the plans to come out. And that's basically BNB and cake paired together, which is basically something that if you like BNB, you should also like that.
Yeah, Rich's video gives a prime example of that. Yeah, office opening
just to answer AJ, I understand your impatience, and everyone actually, everyone, we are all so impatient to know things because we want to keep building stuff and we need to sort the refunds before we can look at building more things first. So I understand your impatience in knowing an answer, but when that answer has already been answered and you keep asking it, it won't lead you to a different answer. The answer will remain the same. We are working on it. Okay. Sorry, AJ, but it's just the way it is. We have already answered how long will the refunds take. We're still looking into that. We don't have exact figures to put out yet, so we can't answer that yet. And we have said this before. It doesn't matter if you ask the same question 3 times or 5 times, the answer will remain the same. I understand everyone. We are also, like I said, impatient to get this sorted out so we can move ahead. But for the time being, we don't want to make any mistakes, and we want to make sure that we do things the proper way for you and for the project, for everyone, okay?
So just to reiterate a bit there as well. So if we turn around to you and said refunds would start next week, and then it come to next week, and we couldn't start them refunds, it piss a lot of you off, and you've got to all admit that. And we've done it with projects, and we've said we don't want to give a date on the project yet because we're still testing it. And you're all eager for Mischief of Fortune to come out and the Fortune miner to come out. We said we can't until we've tested it. We need to test it. We need to do this. We need to do that. And a project can't come out until it's fully battle tested. The same as we need to basically battle test these scripts and each and every single transaction that has gone through. Because if we get it wrong, that's even worse for us. So if we give a false date for everyone and we get delays on giving the refunds out without actually having the full facts and figures there, then we'd just be just as bad. And that would make us as a team wrong. And we'd expect everyone to basically leave us. Whereas if we just say, look, we're going to give regular updates every 3 to 4 days, just keep everyone updated where we're at, where we're going, what we're doing. And then at least you know yourselves. And we're not going anywhere. We're not hiding behind anywhere. We're not hiding behind any doors. We haven't closed the chat. We've not done nothing. We've been here. We've been open and talking to each and every single one of you. The night it happened, I was literally answering every single question in the chat by voice chat. So I was tired, and everyone was saying, just go away. I was, no, because I do it. Because I've seen it before where a dev just goes to sleep and wakes up and everyone's shouting, it's a rug, it's a rug, it's a rug. We'd got the rest of the ecosystem, and that's where I've got to have this responsibility, as well as all the team have as well. So they were dealing with, I think, the back end, while I was basically keeping everyone talking in the chat and keeping everyone updated what we were doing in the chat as well. And that's why we have good teamwork within the team, and can't fault one bit of the team behind the scenes, because We know users are going through stress, but we're going through stress as well. I know it's nothing compared to what users are going through, but when we've got to go through that many transactions and then to double check them and make sure everything's right, and then triple check them, and then wait a minute, this calculation's come back wrong. So now we've got to go through all of them all over again. And that's why we say we've got to have where at least 3 results have come back the exact same before we say, yeah, this must be the final right way. I hope that makes sense to everyone. The upcoming NFT rewards will happen the same day, 28th. Nothing's changing with that.
I'm going to answer Sprucell. The question is, what can affect MOF? The same thing that can affect any Fortune Hunters project. Above all things, with the community. The projects are community projects. And like I explained before, I don't know if you listened, but if you don't, I won't repeat myself. Sorry, I took a little bit long. I won't bore people like that in the chat. But the community is key in every project, and the more support the community shows to a project, the more that project will last. It's simple. We do a part. We do a very small part. The majority is you, community. That's really is. We can suicide compound the pools. We can put in a lot of hours. We can do several things, but it all comes down to one thing: community. The community makes or breaks a project, and it's up to the community, really.
Hey guys, you mind if I jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you know, like a lot of people are wondering how long is it going to take, all this and that, and you know, we do feel for people, you know what I mean, especially for the one that just got in. But like I just posted, like if you were to follow those suggested strategies, and if Farm of Fortune was still going on, it would still take months to ROI. You know, so to ask to get it quick, to get the refunds quicker, and you would have actually got it if FOF was still good. It's kind of a lot to ask. So that's just what I want to throw in there.
Cheers. What do you mean an additional revenue stream? How can you get an additional revenue stream from something that's ended? Well, it's not ended. It's just doing the pools, but the pools are generating the money to make sure everyone can ROI.
I get the feeling he was questioning about an additional revenue stream for MOF, but I'm not sure. The question is not clear.
My bad if I got it wrong.
Sorry, Sproso, but it's still not clear what we mean regarding what FOF or MOF. I'm sorry, I'm really not understanding.
I think you answered it, Nelson.
Yeah, once we have all the data, they'll start immediately. Every 7 days, we'll airdrop every single person. The same way we do with the NFTs. It'll come by multi-sender straight to your wallets. And that's how we're going to do it. So yeah, the Farm of Fortune were 5 days to 7 days. A lot of people was waiting for the 7 days. So it's basically like as if you were still in Farm of Fortune and earning a passive income back. But I know it's not going to be roughly a passive income because it's going to be to ROI.
No, we won't. We can't in MOF. Our contracts are immutable. There is very little things that we can mess around in our contracts. Our contracts are the way you see them in the audits and the way we show them to you. And we can't add additional API or whatever to the MOF. 1% daily, currently 1% daily. We cannot add an NFT to bring it up the daily percentage.
No official parts has been made for BOF. There was to start off with, but we don't know where that is going to lead down to now. And that's why we've got to put that all on hold. Everything's on hold because I know a lot of people are requesting that BOF comes in. But us as a team feel that it would be very unfair to be starting a new project while one's still waiting to even start the refunds. Now, if we start the refunds and everyone's happy, then fair enough, we'll think of a date. But in the meantime, we can't do that. We really can't do that. But in the meantime, we're still pushing all the rest of the ecosystem. We're still doing the compounds. We're still doing the airdrops into each contract. And Cake Fortune just continues to rise. Yeah, I understand. A lot it is patience, and I know it's wrong of us to ask that after everything. But like I say, if we do get it wrong, then you're going to be more upset by us not getting it right in the first place, or you being told that you're not entitled to a refund when you could have been entitled to a refund. And that's why we've got to be 100% sure, and it does take a little bit of time. And just to go back on what Nick said with the scripts, you've seen it in past projects where they've done a script. How many people have queried on them scripts? Because they don't calculate everything correctly. And that's why you've got to double check them, triple check them, and everything else. Because it's not a project that's been going for 5 or 6 days. This has been going for a month. So we've got 4 months of transactions to go through. You can join any other project you want to join in Spruce. There's other streams like this. We don't just say to stay in Fortune Hunters. You can diversify. That's fine. It's your own choice. You don't have to stop with us.
think what he was talking is quite difficult for me to understand, but I think he was talking about getting us to partner with other projects, and I was just typing there to say we've recently partnered with DeFi Ascension. So that is, if you want to get involved with that, that's an amazing project. We don't partner with just anyone. We're very, very picky. So if you want to find out more about that, you can go to fortunehunters.online and go to the trusted projects, and you can see information about that. I believe that there are some NFTs that are up for sale, but that's a project that we have recently partnered with, and is an excellent project. So if that's what you're asking for, then maybe that's something to look at for yourself. Resin's in the chat. He's around, so you can ask him for more information about his project.
Yeah, I know you're not being difficult, Spruce. Not at all. But we're just saying you're welcome to join any project you want. We're not just saying just hold off and wait for your refunds. If y'all wanted to join others, that is entirely up to you. Yeah. Excuse me 1 minute, I need to cough. No, we don't know how much is to ROI on everyone's wallet. We've said this all the time, Showtime. Otherwise, we'd have started the refunds right now. Showtime, I've seen in your Telegram you've been doing wallet checks, so you know in a couple of the wallets the pool sizes. It's just the others you don't know. But blockchain analysis, you can find out. We've said all along, we don't know exactly how much is left to ROI. That's why we've got to go through every single transaction. And that's what's taking its time. Otherwise, we started it. We don't hold off. We don't want to keep everything back.
To answer to Jake Tyrell about the date of BOF, we never gave a date for Bakery of Fortune yet. We just were working on a project, and we announced that we were going to launch BOF because we were working on it, but the work on it is now on hold, and we won't have any date in our minds until we finish what we are doing now. So to answer Jake and everyone, it can be before the refunds are all completed. It can be after. Depends on how fast we can take care of the refunds and start to work on BOF again.
Yeah, we've still got to do the calculations. We don't know we don't know how many wallets have ROI'd, how many haven't, so we couldn't say exactly how much is to be distributed to each person. But like I say, the minute we do, we will open an AMA and let everyone know. We'll have the Excel sheet and I think for everyone to see. That's not correct on June. There was never 19,000 BNB. Remember, they are reinvestments just from the contract balance. So you've withdrawn from the contract and reinvested into the contract. So it's basically a manual compound. It wasn't real investment. If your gas fees are showing 0.6 BNB in MOF, then your time is not up. If you look at your timer, it'll tell you when your next available claim rate is. If it's showing as claim now, please feel free to DM one of the admin and make sure you tag us in chat, and we'll be happy to go through it with you. Yeah, the pools are in Pancake Swap, or you've got Phantom Life as well. They do pools. It all depends. The reason we do it as a whole community, is because you can earn more interest as a whole than as an individual. So say if you only had $2,000 and went into Pancake Swap, earning 25% a year, you'd probably be able to compound twice a week, and that's about it. But you have a project that can put 500k, 600k into Pancake Swap. You could compound 3 or 4 times a day, and that's the difference. Compound interest.
Craig, if you don't mind, I'll take one question and I'll answer half, and I'll ask you to answer the other half because I don't have the numbers that you have on this. But regarding security, you how can I explain this? We already had increased the security after the MetaMask incident. Craig can tell you how much he spent on security upgrades when the MetaMask incident happened and after it also. So we've been increasing security as we can, but we're not a big company. We can't afford to have millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars in cybersecurity, and we shouldn't need that. What happened was I don't know if it was an exception or what an aberration or what it was that happened for this attack, honestly. And we have increased even more the security, but there's a limit to how far we can go, even because Craig is paying from his own pocket the upgrades in the security, and he can tell you about the figures in the security. But we already had upgraded the security after the MetaMask incident and prior to the DDoS attack. And during the attack, we were constantly upgrading and talking to the host and Cloudflare and listening to what they recommend. And they recommend we doing something. We went and do something they recommend us to get this, we would get this. And we were constantly upgrading along the attacks, but the attacks were also always scaling up. And so it's hard for us to accept what has happened, because we know that we did all that was in our power to prevent it, but there's always things we can't. And I'll let you answer the rest of the question. Okay, Craig?
Yeah, no worries. 1 second. Yeah, so within normal range of security in DeFi, we had the same as, say, Animal Farm. We had the same security as them. There was no need to get the Expert Pro version of Cloudflare or a third-party WAF file. There was no reason for any of that, because an attack of this extent has never happened in the whole of history. I'm not going to go through figures of the scale of the attack, because I don't want it to seem as bragging. I don't want it to seem as we're welcoming another attack. We don't want anything like this again. We've never mentioned anything bad about another project. When people have gone on about Animal Farm and Forex, I have told everyone I appreciate what Animal Farm and Forex did, because if it wasn't for them, we would not have had the idea of using PancakeSwap syrup pools to earn an outside revenue. We've done everything to try and work with other projects and promote them when we need to promote them. If they're not worth promoting, we couldn't promote them. But there is other YouTubers that did promote them. Just because I couldn't promote them, because I'm in Farm of Fortune, Fortune Hunters, the whole ecosystem, and I'm the main dev, and it sees that I promote something that isn't sustainable at 20% a day, then that would get me even worse a reputation. That's why we'd never mention anything about another project, and that's why we said we'd keep everything out of the chat regarding anything else, unless it was Fortune Hunters related or partners projects, which could be Richie's project or Ascension Ascended NFTs. But yeah, this is like nothing I have ever witnessed, or Jack's even said it in chat, he's never seen anything like this. In total, what I paid out, when really we shouldn't have needed to pay out, because I had to pay it on my card. I literally had to pay out my card. It were instantly. Everything the host said, we did. Everything Cloudflare said, we did. We didn't even know what we were buying. We were just being told, get this, we need to stop this now, otherwise you're going to lose the whole sites. We did. We went and bought it, no matter what the cost, what it went. And in total, I'm well and truly in the red, in the doghouse with my family. But security is a thing, and we thought we had enough security. Now we've got the security, but how far will the scale go? Are the attacks still happening? Slightly, not as bad, thank God. But they are being mitigated. The 82 million was mitigated as well, so it never actually went through to the site. So that's the scale of what it was. Sorry, go on, Nelson.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that second, Binary Affinity was asking if this could have been a result of us going to the blockchain conference in London. I don't believe so, but it doesn't really matter, honestly. You have only a limited amount of energy. If you devote that energy to things that are not in your control, that energy goes to waste. If you devote the energy that you have to things that are actually in your control, then that energy will be put to good use. We can spend hours speculating about if it was from here, there, or whatever, but we'll never know for sure. That's the reality. So all the time and energy that we could spend thinking about who uh, made this attack will be better spent in doing things that we can do that are under our control, which is be here with the community and building Fortune Hunters ecosystem. That's things that are in our control to do, and a better use of our energy, really. Thinking about who doesn't matter. We took steps to avoid, we improved the security. How far, how secure are we? Like I said, we're not a major company. We cannot afford to have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in cybersecurity because otherwise the money doesn't grow on trees, right? That money needs to come from somewhere, and it's coming from Craig currently. So we can't really go so far. We went as far as the host and Cloudflare advised us to go, and we got what they advised us to get. Will it be enough forever? Forever? We don't know. We can't. No one can really say.
We don't want any donations. At least we know we've got what we need for now. Who's posting their wallet address? All right, yeah. Please don't post your own wallet address, though. You never know what kind of scammers you're going to get. Security, yeah. Yeah, we've got the security now. Is it worth us trying to find out who it is? No, yeah, definitely not. And I'm sorry if that upset anyone. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. Whoever this is has got money, and I don't want any kind of anything like this. Because they was sending viruses to Cloudflare, never been known in history, and I don't want that kind of stuff. I want to move forward. We want Fortune Hunters to move forward. We've got to power through this. We just want to make sure we get all these transactions done. We don't want money. We don't want anything. We just want to get this done and get it over and done with. Move forward and push to what we was going towards without bringing any kind of malicious attention to us. That's all I want, and that's the only thing the whole team want. Stress, yeah, we went through some hell of a stress, and that was all of the team. We were getting stressed at each other, and we've had a breather. We've gotten a voice chat with each other, and we're powering forward, and that's what it's about. We all need to stick together. Security is basically done now, David. I don't think there's anything else we can get.
Ataya, don't post your wallet again, or you will be banned.
That's the second time I've told you. We're on security here. People will turn around and say, "Oh well, if you want your money released," that's another thing. Watch out for DMs. If you want your money released from Farm of Fortune, connect your wallet here. Don't do it. There's many going out. There's many DMs trying to scam you, trying to send you elsewhere, and we can't force you not to go elsewhere. It's about choices at the end of the day. But we're here. We're not going anywhere. We're going to power forward, and we're going to get everything done. We're going to get, as soon as we can, we will have this. And like I say, every 3 or 4 days, we will have an AMA. We're not, and we'll open up. Right, I am. Yeah, I'm gonna end the AMA. I didn't want to go over an hour, so we could carry on with what we're doing in the back end. So I'm gonna end the AMA here. Like I say, if anyone does have a question, we will answer again 3 or 4 days, or we can answer in chat when we get a chance. We are keeping the mods hands down. Applaud the mods. They are keeping all the chat really well. With us being busy in the back end, it's the mods that are keeping the chat in tail, and we're reiterating to the mods, and the mods are reiterating back to you. So hands down, thank you, each and every one of the mods and admin of this chat. And I'm going to end AMA. Take care, everyone. Good night. I'll see you soon.